Carl is, you know, this is the thing I want to say to that too, is that I want to, we proud of the time that we have on this earth and the time that we spent and the dreams that we have. You know, I think that's what fueled us. And I think my biggest job with Carl was not basketball. Like, sometimes being a basketball player, when you see another basketball player, it's not the game that they need from you. It's the big brotherhood and the respect that they can keep going, the appreciation. You know what I'm saying? And this is what I don't like about the business of basketball and the sports. We become so driven into our agenda that a lot of times we don't factor in what happens if your agenda doesn't work. Like, so for example, to tie that in, like, one thing people don't really know, I don't really recruit a lot of kids because I gotta see you through. It's too much time for me. That's the one thing my family will tell you, like, I'm invested, dude. Like, the little 4-year-old kid, or I mean, like, not fourth grade kid that comes to my program, I want to see him be real. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and with Carl, like, people would, this is the message I want people to understand with that, with Carl. Live your game and let your game carry you. Don't step ahead of your game, you know? Because a lot of times kids are in positions to move freely. They don't have the parents, they don't have people directing their path, you know? Let your game elevate you. Because people will come in and they will try to offer things and they will try to make things greener and this and that, when really your game is your ticket. That's all you got. Your game is your ticket. Your game is your ticket, man. And, you know, that kid should be out there in the league. You know, I saw him, Chris, and I saw him, you came and saw him too, go for 50. He did that stuff that you heard about but didn't see. Like, he did that, like, that L Hood, like, 50. And remember, there's one picture that I want to find about Carl that'll make me happy, man. And it will tell his life story of how he was on the court. It's one picture. We playing Paramount. You probably got it.
Wait,
come on. He looked like a gorilla. He looked like a gorilla.
Please!
He looked like a gorilla at war.
That look.
Like see, the mind state that I always told him, this is the mind state that I was able to help him with. Because this is a real life gang member, man. And we grew up in gang culture. He was a gorilla at war. So I was able to do this with him. I was able to get him to channel that into this. So I did that. Like, you know, he was able to channel that energy into this, into that killer mindset. You know what I'm saying? But that picture you have of him, he looked so cold. He had like something like 30 and 11 at the half, and he was in foul trouble and played like 13 minutes. He was just working. And it wasn't no hot dog. It was just work, man. It was just real live work and energy. And he was legendary with the work ethic. People don't realize that, man. Like, I remember that my guys were talking trash to him one day. Legendary Carl story for everybody to understand about Carl. Don't think he was just no kid that came out there and didn't work, man. His jumper was wet.
Wet.
So listen, legendary story about him. But this, in my labs, I don't like telling my lab stories because they personal, but we on KJ Live, baby. We got to let it go.
Appreciate
you. You know what I mean? But we out there, all the boys, you know, the Dinwitties of the world, you know, the Little Johns. We in Inglewood at one of my parks. We do Hills at, you know. So, yeah, Carl's going to make me play 21. We got to play 21, coach.
Always.
He changed my practice program. I had to go 21. I'm like, let's go 21. I got a program. Carl come out here. Hey, I changed. I ain't about to argue with him. He gonna let me do what I want for the next hour and a half. We doing 21. Because Carl gonna have y'all in check for the next hour and a half. He was the best assistant coach I ever had.
Oh.
So, but we at the Hill. Crowe been with me all day. The fellas don't know that. Crowe had to be doing my workouts. So now I gave him the off. He hanging out. I got my son and they group running around the park. They doing their running. They doing their track, local stuff. So now we doing some stuff. Everybody talking trash to Crowe. Like, oh man, you don't work. You don't work. You don't want to work, man. Crowe, what's up, coach? Because you know they running hills. So they looking at him laying out, just chilling. They don't know he did more than that, than whatever. If I'm letting him off, it's because he already been through it. So you know what he do?
What?
He said, if I beat y'all barefoot, I get all y'all money. Listen now, it's the big man. He's barefoot. It's rocks, the terrain is unreal. You have to be some sort of animal to run this terrain with no socks, with an attempt to win. Like, you have to be some sort of animal, bro. You have to be, first of all, but he's so confident, I get all y'all money. He knew they had their little money. They was over there bragging. You know, man, you know how kids are.
Yeah.
They over there bragging. So, come on, man. Yeah, look at Big C. John, little John out there.
You know.
The few of them, dude, they get off. He look at me. He like, they cheating. I'm like, bro, you know what I'm saying? They off. So he look at me like, they cheat, they jump. He barefoot. He look at me like that. Dude, he took off, hauling. I never seen nothing like it in my life. I should have filmed it. I'm just not I should be more of a film guy. I never seen nobody like
the big stride
up the hill, up that grass hill.
Wow.
The Cinderella Hill going up to the football fields.
Oh yeah.
That's dude. It's like a 13-second run. So they got off. He looked like they take. He beat them so bad. He beat them, like took the air out of them. He came storming up. It was unreal.
With no shoes. He had his slides on. He took his socks off to run. He had his socks and slides, took his socks off. He ran barefoot, dude. Dude, I wouldn't even walk that thing barefoot. Like, he took off and ran as a competitor. When you got a guy like this on your team, it's hard to lose. It's hard to lose because of the fact that he's showing you what he's going to do for you when it's time to compete. Yeah.
He's not going to tip. He's not going to take nothing for chance. He's going to play relentless. And that was the culture that he helped breed for the true program. He helped breed that culture.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And people don't know that about him. They don't know that he pushed Jaime and Shaq to be. They don't know that people like Kirk and these guys like room with him and he kept money they win, kept him protected. They don't know about Malik Muhammad. You see him on Last Chance U, having to deal with Crowe and raising his game up every day and the way he would look out. Can't nobody talk about Malik but me. I can clown him. Yeah, he was, come on, man. Like, people don't know that. They want to talk about all the other stuff, but no, he raised the level of competitiveness in your gym.
And I'll tell you what about, people wanting to talk about the other stuff, okay? I got a problem with people talking anything about him that's not positive because he's like any young man out there that made some mistakes. He wanted to get his life together. There's no question about it. But obviously you make mistakes. Just the way that people write him off and, especially when he passed, man. I was looking at some of the stuff on Twitter and stuff, and I'm not going to forget it. I'm not going to harp on it, but I'm not going to forget what was said. I'm going to say it here on KJ Live. Carl Lewis had one of the most beautiful souls of anybody that I've ever been around in my entire life. Okay, that guy made me smile. Like, I used to get butterflies knowing I was going to work out with Carl J. You let me work him out. You let me kind of become sort of a quasi-mentor in his life. And so I had a relationship with Carl.
For real.
And to deal with Carl, man, and just kind of have this idea of who he was. And then when you're dealing with him, and you're talking to him every day and just understand what it was about for him, man. Bruh. But
that's what we did, Chris. For whatever, and you notice, like, when you were working with him, you didn't see me over there, Hollywood. I am out of the way. He's with go over there. Like, I wasn't over there, like, in the workout, don't do this or saying anything. No, this is what it is. And then what was the results of that? He came out there with those workouts. He shot a high clip from three. His percentages was unreal because you had him working on his footwork and playing that game, because what he was going to be in the league was going to be unique. Because what he was going to do was be able to hit that trail three.
Woo!
He wasn't going. He was going to be able to run your dribble handoff game that they run in the league today. Because that's the way I played him out of all the time. So he was going to be he was getting better with that footwork.